We have Triforce back in the studio to talk about the Black Salt brand, how it went from comic book to movie, and now a new crossover 3D arena fighting game coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Triforce, and I'm back on the Lab Video Game TV. We have something new for you guys today. We're going to get into the Black Salt brand. We're going to talk about how it went from an acclaimed comic book to an actual film, and now an indie 3D crossover fighting game coming soon to the Nintendo Switch. Let's get right to the action. So the Black Salt brand is, it's actually started out as a comic book, as I stated before. It's about this guy called Sam Thorpe. He's an orphan that, him and his family was raised in China. Unfortunately, something happened to his mother and she passed away, and he was raised by these Shaolin monks. And it takes a turn as he goes older. I think he moves back to the United States and he becomes a special agent, and he works for these organizations to do special projects and stuff like that. Stop the bad guys type of stuff. And he has an evil Shaolin master who was there before him. And they bring a big threat to the world, and as this special agent, he now has to try to stop them from their evil deeds to conquer the world. And I think this is a good storyline, because I'm reading the actual comics and I'm going through it, and it takes a different twist on things, because here's an African guy who was raised in China from Shaolin monks and now works as a special agent under the United States. So it's very multicultural, and I like that because it gives a real diverse world dynamic about people. We watch a lot of things in media today, and there's a lot of characters that they're all one specific ethnic race. They're not it's not diverse, it's not a bunch of other people involved. And we live in a world now where we're conscious of this, and we're making a big move towards getting everybody in the world involved. And it's cool to see this, because it's a bunch of African Americans who actually made this comic book series. And it then changed from, well, let's call it evolved. It kind of evolved from an acclaimed comic book into a short film. They actually did a great job on the film. I actually watched it, and it's kind of funny, because when you read the comic books and then you see it brought to action and live action, it's especially when you do it right, it actually comes out real good, because some of the things in the live action, like the true background of it, you don't get it. So you get that lore from the comic books, and you're like, that's kind of cool, because you remember this part and this character from the comic books, and then you can see who these characters are in the actual film. For instance, there's this guy, Sam's actual boss. The character's name is Tooms. When you read the comic book, you don't get an introduction to who Tooms is. But in the film, you actually see who Tooms is, and he's a fellow African American who's actually Sam's actual boss.
Tooms, you must be kidding. You got us slumming.
Just because you know everything I taught you doesn't mean I taught you everything I know.
And he works for this big firm and so forth, and they go through all these different characters, from who Ling is to this new agent that they gotta track down and so forth. So when you watch the transition or the connection between the actual comic to the film, you get the world of Black Salt begins to open up. So now we've gone from the comic book to a featured film, and now where does the video game comes in? Well, before we get to the actual video game, there's another comic book involved, and this comic book is called Corrupt, which is from a different universe altogether. And they live in this kind of intergalactic Wakanda-like world. So we're talking about floating continents and cities powered by these cores and so forth. and super soldiers who are faster than bullets. Like they're literally deflecting bullets with their swords in the whole 9 yards. And that's on a different comic book altogether. So Black Salt and Corrupt actually meet up together in a universe and a crossover. Think of it more like Capcom versus SNK or Marvel versus Capcom. And when these characters meet together, they come together in an actual indie-made 3D arena fighting game that's actually coming soon to the Nintendo Switch. Which brings up, who made the game? The game is actually being made by an actual all-black development team. And it's being powered by a lot of and supported by a lot of different companies, mainly Lime Juice. And I'm glad to see that this game is coming out because there isn't a lot of independent game developers who are actually black. Last time I was on the Live Video Game TV, we did an actual feature on Black Otaku, which is a run and gun shooter game by some Jamaican developers who created the game out in Canada. And this game, it's just yet one of very rare games that are actually being made by black developers. But it's good to see that we have some people out there. They really need the support. And because this game, because of the lore on the comic books, because of the expansion of its universe in the film, and then now it's being brought to us in an engaging way through an actual 3D arena fighting game, it just goes to show that this brand needs to really be supported so that we can see what this game is going to be in the future. Everything has a slow step. So, remember how Street Fighter 1 used to be? Look how it started. And then now you have Street Fighter 2. And then look how it went from Third Strike to Street Fighter 4 and now Street Fighter 5. So when I look at Black Salt as a brand, I would love to see this game grow from where it is now to what it will be in the future. And one of the things that I will definitely be doing, me personally, is that I will be using this game and trying to help bring it out to Africa, bring it out here to the Caribbean, especially in Jamaica, and get our people to take note of this game and support black developers everywhere. Not just this game, but games everywhere. We have a lot of different cultural and amazing ideas that we love to get in development into an actual video game and put out there. It'll spice up the market, give everyone a different point of view on how video games are made, especially from black people. So I hope you guys enjoyed this short feature on the Black Salt brand, and I hope you guys will be downloading this game on the Nintendo Switch eShop coming soon, 2020. Until then, we'll see you guys in the next one, because here at the Live Video Game TV, our game is never over.